So the term radical acceptance, if we ask what it is and what the function of it and why it's important. Firstly, if we look at what radical acceptance is and what is the opposite of radical acceptance. The opposite of radical acceptance is resistance. Resistance is where you are not accepting and not going with the way things are. You're not being with things as they are, but you're fighting against it. And that can be, you can be fighting against if you can't sleep properly, you fight to try and sleep more. What happens when you resist not sleeping and trying to sleep? You sleep even less, it's even worse. When you have a pain in your body and you resist it, the pain becomes worse. Whenever you resist in your life, what happens is you're creating the same sort of mental space as you do when you become angry, or when you become jealous, or when you become anxious, or when you become depressed. The same part of the brain actually is activated, and the same mental space is created. It's a negative mental space. So in other words, resistance is unhealthy. Resistance doesn't mean that you're just accepting everything, even things you can change. Resistance means resisting things which you can't change. Resisting something you cannot change does not make it better, it makes it worse. So when we're talking about radical acceptance, what we're talking about is letting go of that resistance. Letting go of that and accepting what is. And when we ask, well, how is that done? What is it? How does that look? What does it look like? Then actually we all do it all the time and have done it many times in our lives. Because whenever we've hit a situation which we can do nothing about, and we always have many of these things. Something you wanted to achieve something and you didn't get it. You wanted to get a particular job, you didn't get it. You wanted to be with a particular person, they don't want to be with you. The end of a relationship. You want some material possession, you can't get it. Again and again we experience things like this. And you can see what happens in your mind as long as you resist. If you come to the end of a relationship, in the beginning you say, I can't live without this person, I must have this person. It's impossible, I'm going to die if I don't have this person. And you go through hell until at some point, and everybody does this, at some point you accept, okay, I'm not going to be with this person. And then it's fine. And then it's no problem. It's just a little switch in the mind. Like many of the mental attitudes which we have, it requires just a little slight shifting in the emphasis of your mind. To, instead of resisting it and saying, no, I must have this, and I can't live without this, I'm not going to have this. Because the reality is, none of the external things which we look for our happiness bring real well-being anyway. They're all superficial, they're all temporary, none of them provide long-lasting happiness. Long-lasting happiness is inside you, not outside you. So if you're constantly resisting and not getting those things outside yourself, you're not going to make yourself happy even if you did get them. There's a lovely expression, there's only one thing worse than not getting what you want, and that's getting it. Because when you get it, you realise it wasn't so special after all. So a little switch in the mind. And it's something we've done many times in our life. We've been through a situation, we've fought against it, we haven't accepted it, and you go through hell when you don't accept it. But as soon as you accept that that's not going to happen, or you're not going to get that person, then it's fine. So the real essence of radical acceptance is being there in your life with whatever occurs, with whatever is there. One of my colleagues in the monastery used to use the term, whatever is on your plate, just eat it. Whatever's there, just eat it. You know? So if you can bring that attitude into your life, what it does, it doesn't change the fact that we have to suffer. We still get sick, we still get old, we still die, we still have emotional and social problems and so forth. And therefore we still have to suffer, but what we don't have to do is suffer from the suffering. So in other words, you don't sleep properly. You wake up in the morning having not slept properly. You have two choices. You can scream and cry, and oh my God, how am I going to survive the day without sleeping? What am I going to do? I have this to do, that to do, how am I going to do it? I didn't sleep. Or you can just accept that you didn't sleep and not complain and not mention it. If you do the second way, if you accept, the day's much easier. If you fight against it, if you go, oh my God, how am I going to survive having not slept? You're just adding suffering onto your suffering. We have to suffer, but we don't have to suffer from our suffering. And if you become very skilled at this, then even the sufferings we do have to experience are really not so bad. They're just what they are. But if we accept them, if we don't resist them, then we avoid this adding this extra layer of doubling or more than doubling our suffering by resistance like that. So acceptance is all about that.